Okay.
Ajay sir, most welcome. Ajay sir, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes sir, now we can hear you, sir.
Okay, fine, perfect.
Thank you, sir. You're most welcome, and it's a pleasure for us to hear you. Sir, first of all, I would like to brief you about connecting professionals.
Yes.
Basically, connected professionals, and I think all the members who are there, they must also be waiting to listen about connecting professionals. And in this regard, I would like to inform that connecting professional is a platform for all the professionals, whether the profession is from CA stream, CS stream, lawyer, or a company or a cost and works accountant, or accounting field, any professional, he is welcomed over here. And for his benefit, and we are in the model of making the professionals share their office spaces, share their platform, share their infrastructure to other persons, to other fellow professionals, so that they may be having even if they are starting, or even suppose I am in Mayur Vihar, and one of our connected profile member is in Gurgaon, and I want to do a meeting in Gurgaon, so I can go there and have a meeting in his office. In this way, we can have a very good synergy, and we can make others to grow. Similarly, others can come to my office, and we have a library also. So any person who wants to refer these books and all the things, all the online material, that is also welcome, most welcome. In this manner, we are going to have a very good team and very good synergy with others, and we can share the work also. We can share our space and all the things. And slowly we are going to move forward to other cities also, wherein we will be having very good contacts with each other, and we are going to share work with lawyers, professionals, other stream professionals also. Well, and now I would like to call on Arun.
Yeah.
To start the further.
Okay.
Please.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you very much for coming and giving your precious time to Connecting Professional Foundations. And it is our privilege that you are be here. I'm also your student in the Register Valuer as a student of RB. Unfortunately, I am not right now qualified because of 2 marks only. But let's see, sir. Now I'd like to read your profile, sir. Thank you very much for coming. Dr. Ajay Garg, sir, is a diversified professional, effective speaker, technical author, writer, and social entrepreneur with total corporate experience of 34 years. He did his post-graduation economics, that is in MA Economics, Commerce by MCOM, and Management. Beside LLB, he is also a fellow member of ICSI, ICAI, IBBI, Register Valuer, Register IPR attorney, and qualified insolvency professional. He is also a doctorate in commerce. He regularly writes articles in the corporate matters, and he delivered a numerous lecture in the Professional and Management Institute and Engineering College, including ICSI, ICAI, ICMAI, MSME. He has served as director on the board of Corporation Bank for a period of 3 years. His social initiative, Aa Vyapar Kar Le, is one of the most popular amongst youth in the Delhi NCR regions. He is also author of the various books. He has written a Financial Inclusion, that is a valuable opportunity in urban area. Second, on corporate law, has been published. And third is a CA Professionals and SME in Make in India. That is a handbook for the practitioners. He has published by the that is published by the ICAI. Fourth book, Aa Vyapar Kar Le, is one of the best book which is under print, and I think we soon get the print of the same as soon as possible. Globally, he has been been to USA, South Africa, Kenya, Bangladesh, Singapore, and Malaysia, and so many other countries. I think sir will describe so many this in a way. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for coming. So I should, without investing your time, sir, we should proceed as a for being a registered valuer. Thank you,
Ajay
sir.
sir, Ajay sir, I would like to tell you one thing, that your profile itself is such a fantastic one that anyone looking about your profile itself will have an idea that what kind of a professional you are. Such a brilliant profile, sir. Exceptional, sir. I would like to request you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I am loving this concept of connecting professional,
Thank you, sir.
and treat me as one of your member in Faridabad.
Oh, thank you very much,
Very
sir.
kind of you, sir. Very kind of you, sir.
And I also extend all the facilities, whatever you have told and whatever you have not told, to any of the professional. You
Thank
can
you, sir.
treat me as one of your members.
Thank you,
And
sir.
and
It is our pleasure, sir. It is our pleasure.
this is amazing the way you are taking up the things. And today the topic is explore the value of valuers.
Sir, I'm muting myself and all the other participants. In case if any person has any query, has any problem, and has any kind of issue, they can raise their hands. They can write in the chat box so that we can resolve the issue.
Yeah.
Sir,
And
all yours, sir.
as usual, my session starts with a small story with a twist. And story is each one of us know that there was a woodcutter. He started cutting the woods, logs in the forest. His performance reached to the height within a week. Thereafter, when he continued, his performance deteriorated. And then slowly, then he was thinking that what has gone wrong, why my performance is not that which was day before yesterday. And then he got the idea that he has to refine his tool. Only then he will get the same level of performance. And then he refined his tool and he started getting the same performance. And then this became a routine with him to refine and refurbish his tools. And rest of the story I will tell at the end of the session. And I have been told that I have approx 45 minutes. Is it so? Okay, fine. Let us move ahead. That each one of us know that the journey of a valuer started in 2017 with valuation rules which were notified by Government of India, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And the beauty is that there was single section, the chapter with the single section. That means I can call this chapter 17 as the smallest chapter of Companies Act. And in 3 years, 18, 19, 20 and 17, in 3 years, we have reached from single section to draft valuers bill. Draft valuer bill was presented on to Cabinet Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on 2nd of April by the Committee of Experts. And yesterday was the last date to submit the public comments, 28th of May. This is the speed with which government is moving from single section to separate draft enactment, which may happen maximum in 1 year. If judiciary does not come in between, then this is likely to happen in this financial year itself, and draft valuer bill may see the light of the day, and this may become a valuation act, a separate valuation act. As I told you that this is smallest chapter in Companies Act, perhaps the richest chapter also. While it is smallest chapter, it is richest chapter also perhaps. And IBBI is apex regulator, not only for insolvency professional, but also for valuation profession as on date. And now IBBI is giving it equal priority. What has happened till now? Till now, companies registered valuers and valuation rules 2017 have happened. Professional code of conduct that is in place. 11 registered valuer organizations. 11 RVOs are also in place. Role of RVO is number one, to provide training, to extend handholding, to provide training for certificate of practice, also to provide capacity building to the valuation professional. For example, this 11 RVO includes one of the oldest institution of valuation, that is known as with the name Institution of Valuers. Similarly, this 11 counting includes RVO created by Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. This includes RVO created by Institute of Company Secretaries of India. This includes RVO created by Institute of Cost and Works Accountants of India, which has now become Institute of Cost Accountants of India, and few others. Spread all across India, there are RVOs, and the youngest RVO is Divya Jyoti, that is from Meerut city. And there we have RVO from Pune, we have RVO from South down, we have RVO from the eastern part of India also. Registered valuers, yes, this is most rich profession. I am telling on the basis of my experience as a registered valuer. And this is most cool profession also. Cool profession in the way that if you are doing your work diligently, then not much travel involved, not much risk involved. Just know your work, do your work, enjoy your fees. That's it. The question is, where are you? The question is, why are you delaying to become registered valuer? Question is, what for you are waiting? This is lockdown. In lockdown, I think that Arunji also must have got time to prepare for the registered valuer exam, and he must be ready with all armaments, and as soon as lockdown will be opened, then he will regularly appear in exam, because this is serial exam. Serial exam for the simple reason that none of us is full-time student now. Because we are not full-time students, we carry other responsibilities as well. Therefore, this exam may take more than one attempt. Don't get disheartened. We will be discussing in detail the procedure also for the professionals who have yet to think of, or who somehow could not get acquainted with the process of becoming the registered valuer. But if you are aware, then this shall attract you, for the simple reason that this red first line in the pink color, most rich profession. Current opportunities, sometimes when we talk with the professionals, then they ask that where are opportunities? Opportunities are very less for the valuers. But remember, every profession starts like this. Even CA profession got its first push in 1984 when tax audit, income tax audit became compulsory. Prior to that, all the income tax returns were being handled primarily by the lawyers. And similarly, the company secretary profession got its push in 2000 when compliance certificate became compulsory. Initially, every profession starts at a slow speed. Even forget the profession, even any vehicle starts in the first gear. Straight away, if you start the vehicle in fourth gear, then there is possibility of either vehicle gets damaged or the person driving the vehicle gets damaged. But still, Companies Act 2013 itself provides number of opportunities. For example, further issue of shares other than right issue, you need valuation. Private placement of share, again you need valuation. Issue of shares in preferential basis, you need valuation. Issue of shares for consideration other than cash, you need not one but two valuations. One valuation for the thing which is coming other than cash, and another valuation for the equity share. That means in case of issue of shares for consideration other than cash, one transaction involves two valuations. Issue of shares under a scheme of ESOP, yes, here also the valuation is required for every ESOP. Now, non-cash transactions involving directors. And we know that, yes, situations are there where non-cash transactions involving directors do happen. And each such transaction need to be supported by the valuation. This is mentioned in section 192(2). Buyback of shares. Buyback of shares, if you will go through the section, if you will go through the rules, then you will realize that section or rules nowhere provides for valuation. But directors are duty bound to explain the basis on which the buyback value has been derived or buyback price has been derived, and what option is there with the directors. They are not professionally qualified, and ultimately what happens in every buyback, though this is not mentioned either in the section or in the rules for buyback, but still every buyback is supported by the valuation derived by the registered valuer, and buyback does not happen because responsibility is on directors. Therefore, they are always cautious and they do not want to take the responsibility. Therefore, for justification, they go to the registered shareholder and ask for the valuation. Mergers and amalgamation. Now, if any merger or amalgamation is there, then this valuation report is required to be procured from registered valuer. If this report, valuation report, is not from registered valuer, then NCLT, none of the bench of NCLT is going to allow this. That is one of their primary objections. Sometimes it happens that valuation report has been signed by some other professional. They are not accepting now. NCLT is not accepting this now. We have reached to the level where NCLT insists that valuation report must be signed by none other than registered valuer. Demergers, yes. In demergers as well, the valuation by registered valuer is required. Let us talk about a scheme of compromise or arrangement. This is something different. This is something different from mergers and demergers. A scheme of compromise or arrangement means either there is reduction in the liabilities of the company which is agreed by the creditors, or there is reduction in the liabilities towards bankers, which is secured liability. Earlier we used to know one thing that was known as CDR, debt restructuring, and this debt restructuring is nothing but scheme of compromise or arrangement with the members. And same thing maybe with the members. If it is same thing with the members, then also the valuation is required, and none such scheme can happen without valuation report. Registered valuer, there are, let me talk about Ind AS. Registered valuer to carry out fair value of assets and liabilities, if, and this is mandatory for every listed company, and this is mandatory for every unlisted company with the turnover of 250 crores or more. This is a new field which has opened up for the registered valuers. We were pushing it up for pretty long time because this was under Ministry of Company Affairs, Corporate Affairs only, and very recently the clarification came in different way. In different way that the NAFRA, rules mentioned that NAFRA has power to impose penalties on the valuers. And how this penalty will get imposed? Only when valuers will be doing valuation under Ind AS. Then recently FAQ has been issued by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. And in that FAQ, they have clearly mentioned that Ind AS valuations for fair value must be carried out by registered valuers. And there is third development. That third development is in reference to new format of CARO, which was just postponed for the reason of lockdown. And now this will become applicable from next year. And that CARO report has one of the point, and the point says that the valuation, the auditor has to mention in his CARO report that if anything was revalued or any valuation was required, whether it was carried out by the registered valuer or not. And that clarification will now become the part of the auditor's report. And that way, this Ind AS, now Ind AS valuations are being done by the registered valuers. And submission of report by company liquidator. Company liquidator parallelly liquidation system continues, and in this system, the company liquidator has to submit this report taken from a registered valuer. Purchase of minority shareholding. Whenever minority shareholding is to be purchased by the majority shareholders, the valuation is to be carried out by the registered valuer. And if still you feel that these opportunities are less, then there are opportunities under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, valuations required by registered valuer at the time of insolvency commencement date. These are required at the time of liquidation commencement date. Valuation is also required at the time of initiation of voluntary winding up. Though this is not directly mentioned, but see that the board of directors have to give a certificate, and that certificate is about the sufficiency of the assets for payment of all the known and unknown liabilities. That certificate is known as solvency certificate. And none of the board, though everything is clear, still they do not take risks, and they want that their certificate must be supported by a valuation derived by the registered valuer. That means every voluntary winding up starts with the valuation carried out by the registered valuer. And then in case of liquidation, at the time of sale of every asset, the valuation, it is supported by the valuation, so that the company liquidator is not in trouble at later stage when his sale is challenged by other stakeholders. To save his skin, he is always going for the valuation report whenever any asset sale is happening. SEBI has already started taking care of the registered valuers. First, SEBI regulation where registered valuer enter was the payment in case of CIS companies, collective investment scheme companies, which the company which busted, and where the administrator was appointed. Appointment of administrator carried the concept, and it was defined in the definition that who is the registered valuer, and the reference was given to section 247. Thereafter, two more regulations were drafted by the SEBI. One was in relation to real estate investment trust, REIT regulation. Another one was infrastructure investment trust. And infrastructure investment trust as well as real estate investment trust talks about that registered valuer is the only qualified person to carry out the valuation. Loader defines registered valuer, but in subsequent regulations, The valuation as on date is assigned to the merchant bankers, not to the registered valuer. But we are expecting that in next 2 years, for SEBI, all types of valuation will be carried out by the registered valuer and nobody else. Today's scenario, registered valuer under Stamp Duty Act, though it is not mentioned, but Act is silent and every valuation for Stamp Duty Act is happening through the table of registered valuer. Registered valuers also doing the valuations of unincorporated entity because nothing is mentioned in the law, nobody wants to take the risk. Therefore, these assignments are also happening at the table of registered valuer for sole proprietorship as well as for partnerships under 1932. And future opportunities, as far as Indian Bank Association is concerned, Indian Bank Association has already mentioned that to all the bankers, to all their members, they issued a circular on 14th February 2019 that for the purpose of valuation, bankers must appoint only and only IBBI registered valuers, nobody else. And this circular now has got repeated, and now when you will see bank asking for empanelment, they will mention one of the criteria that the person should be registered valuer, only then he is eligible for empanelment. And debt funding in times to come will also have the valuation report by the registered valuer. Let us talk about the future opportunities. When we talk in reference to future opportunities, then OL offices, more than 1,000, 5,000, more than 5,000 reports every year on YOY basis happens through OL offices still. National Company Law Tribunal for every operation and mismanagement case. Sometimes still NCLT is appointing other than registered valuer. And we have taken up this issue because NCLTs are under Ministry of Corporate Affairs, therefore this is easy. And gradually NCLT is understanding that for the purpose of valuation, they need to appoint registered valuer who is only authorized person under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. LLP Act, Limited Liability Partnership Act as on date is silent, but this is under same ministry. And we are expecting whenever amendment will happen, then registered valuer will enter here also. Quasi-equity, as recently as 15 days back, you know that Finance Minister of India created a fund, and that fund was 50,000 crores equity fund for MSME. Then there was another 20,000 crores fund for MSME only for NPA and distressed companies. And what happens, how funding happens through these funds in the form of quasi-equity. Quasi-equity is when we say that this is redeemable preference shares or convertible preference shares or fully convertible debentures or partly convertible debentures. In such cases also, the registered valuer is there, and registered valuer usually will be asked by these persons to carry out the valuation of the instrument to be issued by the company. SEBI SAST regulation, we are expecting soon this will be amended, and in SAST, substantial acquisition of shares and takeovers regulation, here also the registered valuer will enter. But as on date, registered valuer is not there. And delisting of equity share regulation, here also there is a need. We have taken up the issue, and very soon SEBI may amend this regulation as well, inserting registered valuer as the person capable to do the valuations. Income Tax Act, because Income Tax CBDT is member of the committee constituted by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, therefore sooner or later this has to happen, and even valuations under income tax will be carried out by none other than the valuer. RBI is also one of the member of the committee constituted by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Therefore, in FEMA, in FDI, in ODI also, the registered valuer is going to happen. Sooner or later, this has to happen, and we are expecting that this will happen in another 1 year, where FDI, ODI, and FEMA guidelines will be changed, and registered valuer will replace the other professionals over there. Wealth Tax Act, yes, wealth tax, there is separate empanelment till date, but this is also going to change soon. Let us leave this because this talks about next level for the valuer. Insurance and risk management, loss assessment, international assignment, net worth certificate, AMFI, Association of Mutual Funds of India. Why AMFI is important? Because these valuations are required by various mutual funds day in, day out. This will open the opportunities for full-time employment for the valuers. And full-time employment opportunities are also being sought in investment division of every bank. Full-time employment opportunity is also going to happen in venture capital funds. Full-time employment opportunity is also going to happen in credit rating companies. Full-time employment opportunity is also going to happen in the pension funds as well. Wherever frequently valuation is required, we are expecting that very soon another side of the profession will emerge, and that will be good for the youngsters so that they can join the organization as full-time valuer. Their valuations are frequently required. For example, FIMDA. FIMDA is one of the association of the derivative players and money market players, and this federation has made it compulsory, and they issue guidelines from time to time for the purpose of valuation, and every bank, every other member, every foreign exchange dealer, every derivative member has to work out the valuations every quarterly, Q on Q basis, quarter to quarter basis. And there also this is going to happen where valuation professionals will be engaged on full-time basis. Future of valuers. This is my own perception that valuation would be richest and most sought after career, bracketed with actuarial in India. As on date, actuarial is the most rich profession, and soon the barriers will be uplifted, barriers will become more, entry in the profession of valuer will be difficult, and this will become one of the richest professions just 5 years down the line. I am not talking about the next generation, I am talking about just 5 years. Now, some of you might be aware, which I am going to tell. Some of you might be partially aware, some of you may not be aware. So let us, if you are aware, let us get repeated so that you get charged to become registered valuer. How to be valuer? Let us talk about the procedure. Because connecting professional still does not have any logo, therefore I thought that I shall put the logo of the sponsor, and therefore you will see here the logo of SETZ Technologies Private Limited. I got the impression that perhaps he is the sponsor, and because connecting professional, no logo was there, therefore I put this logo of SETZ here. Anyway,
No, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
We are having a logo of connecting professional. Actually, I think that has been so much. The person who has made the same, I think that is so small that really sorry for that. That we have not reviewed the same. We are already having a logo of connecting professional, which is so much familiar in all the members right now.
Okay, I did two things. Number one, when I got this flyer, on
Yes,
that
sir.
flyer, this logo was not there.
Okay.
Then I searched on Google. On Google also, I didn't get the logo of the connecting professional. Therefore, I thought that, okay, let me give this honor to the sponsor. And
Thank you very much.
therefore I put the logo of the sponsor over there, and
Thank you,
that
sir.
way it came up.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Eligibility. Let us talk about the eligibility. Who is eligible? First of all, let us talk about the SFA category. And when we talk about SFA category, we have just to go through, in our mind, we have to go through the balance sheet. In balance sheet, complete liability side belongs to SFA. SFA is decoded as securities and financial assets. Complete liability side is your SFA category. And in asset side of the balance sheet, except plant and machinery and land and building. That means fixed assets. If we leave fixed assets, rest of the asset side of the balance sheet belongs to SFA category. That means out of three classes, three asset classes, the maximum scope is there for SFA category, because whole of the liability side and except fixed assets, all assets in the asset side of the balance sheet belongs to SFA category. Now, who is eligible? CA, CS and cost accountant, all with only 3 years experience, 3 years post qualification experience. And this 3 years post qualification experience is also for MBA. This 3 years post qualification experience is also there for diploma in business management. This 3 years post qualification experience is there for the finance, postgraduate degree in finance also. But as soon as we talk about plant and machinery and land and building category, there is a departure. They need 5 years post qualification experience to become land and building or plant and machinery valuer. Why this? Logic is that in engineering, the graduation degree, and in case of the SFA category, post graduation degree, because they have already spent at least 2 years after post graduation. Therefore, for SFA category, post qualification experience is 3 years. For engineers, this is 5 years. This is about the eligibility. Classroom trainings. Classroom trainings, yes, 50 hours training is compulsory. Presently, this training is conducted by registered valuer organization. After draft valuer bill, this 50 hours training is likely to increase to 400 hours. Arunji, this is
Yes, sir.
important for you. That
Yes, sir.
presently this training is 50 hours and this is likely to become 400 hours. And
Yeah.
transition for valuers is mentioned in the bill. But transition for valuer students is not mentioned in the bill. We have raised the flag.
Okay, sir.
This is what we could do, that we have raised the flag that transition for students shall also be mentioned over there. But as on date in draft valuer bill, it was not there. And nowadays in lockdown, online training happening. If there is lockdown in your city, then this is your chance at least to complete 50 hours training if you are willing, and if you think opportunities are there in the field of valuer.
Sure.
Syllabus. Sometimes the question is syllabus is very vast. Answer is yes. Sometimes question is syllabus is very difficult. Answer is yes. Sometimes question is that syllabus is not well defined. Answer is yes. Sometimes questions are that syllabus have some portions which are not important to be a valuer. Answer is no. Every portion of the syllabus has been so meticulously designed so that a valuer knows at least ABC of everything. Because if valuer is not aware of the economy, he will not be able to do justice. If valuer is not aware of the industry, he will not be able to do justice. If valuer is not comfortable with the figures, he will not be able to do justice. If valuer is unaware how to read the law, he will not be able to do justice. Therefore, all parts have been including here. Even management accounting, yes, that is also part, and valuation is next level after management accounting. This is what I shall say about the syllabus. Let us talk about exam format. If we talk about exam format, there is multiple choice question type questions over there. Some of the questions are of 2 marks each, presently 8 questions. are there of 2 marks each. Rest of the questions are of 1 mark. Negative marking, yes, negative marking is there. Marks required, how many marks are required to pass? 60%. Difficulty level, high. Why difficulty level is high? Not because of the questions, but because of the phase of life in which we are. We are in phase of life where we are not full-time student. Therefore, it is difficult. We are in the phase where we are in practice. And in practice, our priorities always change with the priorities of the client. Then we are in the family life. Because we are in family life, therefore again our priorities are different. Because we carry the rigorous schedule, we don't get time to study. Because of these reasons, this difficulty level is high. Otherwise, the exam is very easy. Only question is, because we are in different phase of life, therefore this exam is not easy but difficult exam. And you may call it serial exam. Serial exam means that you may have to appear at every week, and based on group study. Group study, because questions recalled will never be 100%. On average, you will be able to recall 30% questions. And if suppose there is a small group of 4 of you who are doing the group study on WhatsApp, then what will happen that as and when each of you will be making attempt, he will be recalling 30% questions and will be sharing 30% questions. So that way you will become more friendly with the questions which are being asked in the exam. Therefore, I call it serial exam based on group study, because every time when you are going to appear next time, you are adding 5 more hours of study and you need to pass only once. This is not a series of the cricket match, that 5-match series, and if you lose the series, if you lose 3 matches, it is not like this. Even if out of 5 you win once, you are through and you are the winner, and you have taken another professional degree for life. Presently, there is no concept of reappearing after a regular interval, as in case of CPA in America. Here in India, just once you have passed, you have taken this degree till the last day of your breath. Cost estimate. Sometimes some of the professionals says that this is very costly. Fees for enrollment as a student, yes, that is there. Fees for enrollment as a member, yes, that is also there. Fees for enrollment as a COP holder, that is also there. And you have paid all these fees when you became professional of the first profession. As a student, you paid fees. As a member, you paid fees. As a COP holder, you paid fees. Therefore, be ready to pay fees at every stage. Then fee is for syllabus training, 50 hours. Fees is also there for COP training. That means overall your expense is less than 50,000. ये more than वाला जो sign लगा हुआ है, read it as less than sign, and total expense. And this is not expense, this is investment. There is a difference between expense and investment. Treat this 50,000 rupees as your investment in this profession. Let us talk about time estimate. When you will register as a student, you will spend approximately 1 hour. When you will go for classroom training or online training, you will spend another 50 hours. Self-study, 50 hours are sufficient. 50 hours if you will recall your first professional degree. For every exam you studied for more than 50 hours. Here, just in 50 hours self-study, you will get 1 additional degree. Examination hall, I have included the traveling also. Therefore, this is 5 hours. And I presume that you are as busy as I was. Therefore, maybe that you will pass in 3 attempts, then you will save 10 hours here. Celebration, once you will pass out, then celebration hours also I have included. COP hours, training hours, and getting ready. Getting ready is once you pass out, you take the COP, but then you are wondering that I have taken the COP, I have passed the exam, but I still do not know what to do so that I can sign my first valuation report. The gap between passing the exam and becoming a true professional, where you sign as a Arun Singh, where you sign as a Sumit Kansal. So that is getting ready. For getting ready, you may have to spend another 6 hours, and then you will become true registered valuer. That means your total time investment in addition to 50,000 rupees is 140 hours. Let us talk about unassured returns. That when you are making investment of 50,000 rupees, what will happen? Number one, as on date, you are allowed to do additional practice as a valuer. That means you need not sacrifice your present kitty. And maybe in first year, because your focus is on your practice, therefore you will be doing only selective assignments, or people will not be aware about your capabilities, or people will doubt your capabilities. Therefore you will get less work. Still, in first year, even if you don't advertise, you will add 5 lakh rupees in your kitty as a registered valuer. And in second year, this will automatically double. In third year, again it will double. And then you will reach to the level where growth will be normal. In initial 3 years, growth will be super normal, and you will be adding a fabulous amount to your kitty of income as a professional. And total working time will get reduced. Today you might be working for, because every professional I have seen, whether in small city or in big city or Delhi, Bombay or whatever, every professional puts not less than 12 hours in his office or with his clients, and rest 12 hours for the family. And this time, working time will get reduced, because you will get the quality assignments, you will be putting the quality hours there, and rest of the hours will be all yours. Let us take this is story time now again, and this story goes like this: that one fine day, after 2 months, then woodcutter was again in trouble. That despite fine tuning his axis, he was unable to improve his performance, even to perform at the same level, because he was feeling bored. Then again the lightning dawn came, and he got lightning in his mind, and he decided that this is the time to buy a new XE. And when he will buy a new XE, only then his performance will further improve. Doing registered valuer profession, getting one more degree as a professional, is just like buying a new XE, so that each of us can improve our performance. And here I will end my session, and then we will go for the question answer. And thank you, each of you. I am now unsharing my screen so that we can go for the question answers, if there are any, or if there are many. There is a question by Abhijit Deshmukh: whether unlisted companies include private limited companies also for fair value of assets and liabilities? Answer is yes. 250 crores. Go through NAFRA guidelines, and then you will realize that gradually this limit is being reduced. In income tax valuation of securities, there is a question by Ritvik. In income tax, valuation of securities required to be done by merchant banker. I believe this limits the scope of chartered accountant. Ritvik, you are right. As on date, if this is net asset valuation, then chartered accountants can do. If this is fair valuation, then merchant bankers are allowed. 11 UA and relevant provisions. And because CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, is already the member of this valuation committee constituted by Ministry of Corporate Affairs in 2018. Therefore, we are expecting that merchant bankers and chartered accountants both will get replaced by registered valuer in next 1 year. Be ready for that also. Mr. Nilesh is here. We shall have question and answer session at the end, and all the participants shall get the opportunity to ask query. Perfect. Please give a stepwise procedure for valuation course. I have given the procedure. I shall repeat this procedure. If this question is asked again by Mr. Vicky Kondalia. There is a question from Dell that how to prepare practical questions. Preparing practical questions is easy. One of the CFA book is there, and most of the questions are from that CFA book. You can purchase this CFA book, or I will give the name of the book to the coordinators of this today's session, today's webinar, so that each of you know where from to prepare for practical questions. There is a question by Mr. Sumit Kansal. Answer is yes, you are eligible. Till now, there is no such condition that the person who has done training in 2018, that means this is open. Once you have completed and you have taken your completion certificate, then you continue to be eligible. Kindly do not give this idea to the regulators. Otherwise, they will make it that after 1 year, then you have to do the course again. His question relates to case study. Is RVSFA or RVP&M eligible valuation of inventory in automobile industry? Yes, good question, Abhijit ji. Answer to this question is that any industry. I am addressing the question raised by Mr. Abhijit Deshmukh. This question is in relation to automobile industry, and I shall, as I have given you an example of a balance sheet, that liability side of the balance sheet, whole liability side belongs to SFA. As far as asset side of the balance sheet is concerned, leaving land and building and plant and machinery, everything else belongs to SFA. That means that asset side, except fixed asset, also belongs to SFA category. Automobile industry is no exception. Even the stock may have the finished goods, stock may have semi-finished goods, stock may have metal. Who will value the stock? None other than SFA as on date. Is valuation work going to increase after pandemic? Lot of restructuring to occur. There is a question by Sumit Kansalji. See, both type of things will happen. Valuation work will increase as well as valuation work will decrease. Decrease will be in relation to the routine valuation. Increase will be in relation to the extraordinary valuation. These extraordinary valuations may be in reference to insolvency. These extraordinary valuations may be in relation to bringing of new partner, or these extraordinary valuations may be to bringing a joint venture partner. What is the expected fee of valuation? What are the factors need to consider for quoting fees? If you are in the category of Rajiv Singh, have you heard the name of Rajiv Singh? I treat him as #1 valuer of India because he is doing valuations for last 25 years. When he became chartered accountant, then somehow he fell in love with the valuation, and his valuation level, at his level, fees for valuation starts 8 lakh onward. Valuation fees at my level starts at 1.5 lakh onward, and youngsters are doing it for 25,000 also. And some black sheeps are always there in every profession. They might be doing it for less, but I am not aware about it. And what is expected fee of valuation? What are the factors need to consider for quoting the fees? See, whenever you have to quote fees in your life, always remember what is the minimum penalty and what is the maximum penalty. And from the penalty quantum, you get the idea how to quote the fees. And tomorrow we are coming up with a session from another forum, and that is valuation report assignments getting ready. Today we have talked incidentally about the value of valuers. Tomorrow that session is valuation report assignments getting ready. That once you have qualified registered valuer exam, you have taken the COV. Now next step, how to get the work. So that is day after tomorrow, sourcing work. And this forum is known as AIRVA, and any of you who is registered valuer, he can join this program. That will be value addition for him, because we are opening up and we will be telling the secrets that what to be taken care of and how to be taken care of and what type of valuation, what should be the fees, and every question we will discuss openly so that youngsters can also understand the seriousness of various types of valuation assignments. There is a question from Mr. Ketan Jasani, and this question I have replied. And any question, if I have left, the coordinator, moderators may repeat that question to me so that that can be taken care of.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Garg Sahab, for wonderful insights in the short period of an hour. You covered all the topics, and it's a great curriculum of RVO. So, sir, just wanted to know that from 1st June, they were saying syllabus is changing, but now somewhere I think they are extending the time because of the pandemic. Any idea on those lines would be great.
Even if syllabus will change, what will they change? Okay. These changes are minor only.
Okay.
Changes are in the form of weightage given to various portions of the syllabus. Therefore, as a student, you need not worry.
Okay.
Most of the 98% of the syllabus remains same. Only thing is that legal case studies, the weightage for legal case studies getting reduced now.
Okay, sir.
Earlier it was 6 marks, now it will become 2 marks. These type of changes.
Right, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. There is a question from Vicky Kundalia. That is that he wants to ask, what is the step-wise procedure for doing the valuation course?
Yes, Mr. Vicky Kondalia. I shall repeat the step-wise procedure. First of all, you need to register yourself as a student. Step 1, register yourself as a student. Step 2, take admission for 50 hours online class. Once you complete the class, then pay your fees for exam. Next step, clear the exam. Then again pay the fees as a member once you clear the exam. Once you pay the fees as a member, then approach the RVO where from you have taken the training or any other RVO. Then you need to do COP, Certificate of Practice Training, which usually vary from 4 hours to 6 hours. And once you complete your COP training, then you become registered valuer, eligible to issue the certificate, valuation certificate to your clientele basket. Usually, if you will see the Chartered Secretary backside page 6 months back, then you will get that this procedure is mentioned in 10 steps. Step number 1, check your eligibility, whether you are eligible. Because for being eligible, 3 years is only one of the criteria. Second criteria is that you shall be in practice. Only then you are eligible. Another thing to be taken care of, there are multiple things, that 21 years of age, Indian national, and then non-conviction and this and that, and all those things are general things which are there for anything. And then the process sets in. You have to keep 50,000 rupees separate in your basket for investment to become the registered valuer. You may pass it at 50 with 40,000 rupees or 49,000 rupees. Whatever amount you save, enjoy that amount for the celebration once you become the registered valuer. But don't keep any money in your pocket out of 50,000 rupees. Spend full amount so that you get full return on your investment. And if anything, and then in the meantime, I will say that this 50 hours online training shall be supported by 50 hours self-study also to pass this exam. How, there is a question by Mr. Ronak. How can a new professional earn 5 lakh in a year from valuation? So you are chartered accountant, you don't need lesson from me. And this is very easy, that even if you just serve your own clients, then by way of doing the valuations for mergers and other routine matters, you will get not less than 5 assignments in a year. And 5 assignments in a year, if you do your assignments meticulously and you are very choosy, then 5 lakh rupees is very small amount. You are, as far as I know, Mr. Ronak, you are already doing the practice of 50 lakh rupees. So for you, this is very small thing. There is a question by Mr. Ketan Jasani. Does foreign-based valuer or company eligible to carry out valuation in India? Today's answer is no, because today registered valuer, as far as Companies Act is concerned, then merchant banker as far as SEBI is concerned, as far as Office of Liquidator is concerned, only registered valuer. As far as Indian Bank Association is concerned, only registered valuer. As far as AMFI is concerned, AMFI has empowered its members that they can carry out the valuation on the basis of guidelines issued by AMFI, and they need not take any valuation report certificate from outside. FIMDA is Money Market and Derivative Dealers Association, and FIMDA guidelines says that their members are eligible to do the valuation on daily basis on the basis of valuation guidelines issued by FIMDA. As on date, Mr. Jasani, no foreign-based valuer or company is not eligible as far as law is concerned. I am talking about the legal provisions. Otherwise, in case of multinational companies, wherever there are cross-border transactions, valuations are being carried out by the multinational foreign-based valuers and companies in India. But this was the scenario primarily until 2017. Till this valuation rules came, they are in difficult position, and tomorrow what will happen, nobody knows.
I think, sir, all the queries are answered by you, and now no more queries are left. I would request all the persons, if there is any query by any person, any of the participants, please let us know so that Ajay sir may answer the same. You may raise your hand, or in case if you want, then you may just write in the chat box. I think all are answered. Okay, sir. It was a very nice session from your side. and we were really honored by your session, and we had a very good knowledge about all the things, and therefore we expect that again we are going to conduct this session from your side after some time, so that all the participants, all those who are unable to join this presentation, this webinar, may be benefited by your second presentation. And as you said that there are certain other presentations going on in the next 2-3 days. I believe that in those presentations there will be certain additional things that you are going to tell. We would like to have a presentation from your side on those topics, including this topic, in the near future, sir.
Thank
And we
you.
are thankful to you for being a very good speaker, and we were really blessed by your presence, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Count
you.
me as one of the connecting professionals, and
Thanks a lot, sir.
I'm there.
And also, I think the audience was very nice, and I really thank the audience for staying with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ajay, sir. And thank you, all the persons. Thank you.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, sir.
हाँ सर नमस्कार सर बहुत बढ़िया बहुत बढ़िया हाँ 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 ठीक है ठीक है